All right, folks, welcome back to the Thrive Vodcast, and I'm in rarefied air here.
I don't know about that.
I'm with two of my favorite humans. Man, building new buildings.
Yeah.
I can't even, you guys come out with so many, I can't even keep track of what you guys come out with.
Yeah, the big thing for us lately.
You probably can't either, right?
No.
We spend
Scott
a lot.
can.
Is
He's
that
always the
ours?
don't add SKUs,
Yeah.
don't add SKUs.
Well, yeah, we try to keep a little bit of a rein in on that, but every product that we have, Mark, is something that came from our butcher shop.
Yeah.
So it's like something that we are already using or we developed for the butcher shop. And that makes it really nice because that's like a gigantic test kitchen for us.
Yeah.
And then those products are all like immediately can be direct to consumer and be sold online. And then to get them into retail, that's a little bit of a different story because you have all your packaging and all that stuff that goes into it. Big for us now are the home processing kits. Much like you entering the outdoor world 5 years ago, even though we've always been a brand that's based on like our own personal interest being in the outdoor world, we had like the shake on seasoning. That was our main focus. And like the shakers that we had, dozen flavors. Every griller, barbecue, or whatever could use them. And we had some encouragement to use them in home processing.
Yeah.
But they really weren't packaged that way. In 22, we opened up and we basically took every flavor of bratwurst, stick, summer sausage, and everything that we were already doing in our shop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we turned it into stuff that you can buy and do at home.
Yeah.
So like in Ohio, so we shoot about 220,000 whitetail annually. Now, if that gives you 40 pounds, and 40 pounds is kind of a light average of boneless meat you get from a whitetail, but that's a safe average. 40 pounds, that extrapolates out. That's almost 9 million pounds of meat in Ohio alone, just whitetail. And then you can hunt whitetail in 42 states. But then big game. So 25 pounds is plenty for a whitetail typically. But for big game, moose, elk, that sort of thing, these kits come pre-measured, clean label spices. So typically no sugar. You're never going to find chemicals, MSG, anti-caking, that sort of stuff in ours. No dyes, anything like that. Real authentic spices because that's what our base is in clean label spice, clean label butchery. And then you'll have included with the spice, you'll have, any of the casings that you're going to use. You're going to have extra ingredients. If it has cures, we do a lot with celery juice powder and cherry powder. So you're using a natural plant-based cure versus a synthetic cure like sodium nitrate.
Is it separate or do you got to put the cures in?
Everything's separated, but there's instructions there. We have a DIY library. We've probably done a video on it as well. So you can go to YouTube and watch how we do it.
if Betty Crocker could do it, right?
So if you don't want to use that, my point is if you don't want to use the cure stuff, you don't have to.
Right.
No, you can buy all the components separate, or the cure's not mixed into the seasoning.
Yeah, so you can just leave
So
it
you
out.
can do a fresh brat with it. You can do anything you want. There's a lot of flexibility there.
Oh, I'm definitely.
So yeah, it's ready to go, and then people love that too because more and more processors are scaling back how much wild game they're doing.
Yeah.
And people are finding it harder and harder to get it done.
That's right.
And then you have an added benefit of never losing, contact with the processing. So you can be in control, just much like you with your freeze-dried meals.
Yeah,
you can do the same thing with your own home processing.
Well, and now the equipment's gotten better too.
Yes.
Oh, much better.
So the right equipment, the knowledge, and if you have like a home-built smoker, a pellet smoker, or something at home,
Everybody has Traegers nowadays, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can produce a commercially, basically better ingredients, but a commercially tasting product at home. Simple as
All right,
that.
I'm
So
definitely
that's
good.
been big. So 22, we launched that direct to consumer, but now we're getting a lot of more retail stores and pushing into the West. So a couple of stores that we're in now are Murdoch's, North 40,
Shields,
Academy Sports. They're more in the southern part of the States. A lot of Ace Hardwares. So yeah, getting a lot more exposure on store shelves too, which is really nice.
Man,
so that's been a big part of our business is kind of going from the online direct-to-consumer model with all the media, pushing it to more of these trading partners that we have, and that kind of dictated building the building and doing all that type of stuff. So, yeah, big things out of Creston, Ohio, but we love to come out. We love to come out west,
Man,
because
I
it's
love
such an
watching you guys
exposure
grow.
for us.
Thank you.
I
Thank
can't
you.
even keep up.
It's exciting, and the internet's been good for us in that sense. There was not a lot of butchering content out when we started. We actually launched our YouTube in 2016, so there was about 3 or 4 years there where we were gaining traction, but there was no other butchering. And then once it kind of started, it was about 2020 when it really started to take off. When we visited with you, we probably had close to probably 800, 600 I think 600,000 subscribers
yeah,
or
on
so.
YouTube, something like that.
And now it's just about hit 3.5 million. So that's really exciting.
Well, I remember on that hunt in Montana, sitting on the top of the mountain and looking at our queue for our e-com orders, and we hit 1,200.
Yeah.
And it was
remember
just
that.
like, we're going to celebrate tonight because we'd never do
We're
that.
gonna open up an extra pack of
Mark's
biscuits and gravy.
homemade dehydrated meals.
That's right. I remember
Yeah.
you guys shaking your. So that was one thing I knew right off the bat. I always loved meeting entrepreneurs. Right. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life.
Yeah.
I've only had one job in my whole life, and I've never done an application. I've never had an interview in my life. I knew early on there's no way I could work for somebody else. I did for a long time, but that was the only job. And right out of college.
That was the medical field,
Yeah,
right?
the medical
Yeah.
stuff, taking out body parts, right?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah,
you
eyeballs
guys
and
remember
stuff.
everything. I can't believe you guys remember it. But I love meeting entrepreneurs. And when you guys on that hunt, I'm about like had to get on you guys. I could tell you to not been away from your business that much.
No.
Oh, it was hard.
And you guys were checking stuff like as soon as we get sell.
Oh,
especially
yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
He's like, hold on.
Oh, yeah. Answering emails and it's
a
tough.
lot's changed there. We at the time we didn't have really much of a team built around us, but now we have a great team
Yeah.
that can really help run things. It's been great. And our kids got older. They started getting involved too. So
Yeah.
like at the time we had our nephew Spencer doing our filming. He was the camera guy.
Yeah.
He's still doing that. But we've got a couple other, like my son and Seth's son, that can help with that too. So kind of spread some of that out.
So I was going to ask you guys that. So my son's 15 now, and so he's starting to, he's interested in making money. He's interested, and I'm trying to decide, do I kind of bring him in the family business, or is it going to be an issue? How do you guys think about family working close together?
Everybody has a seat at the table.
Yeah.
That's our opinion. And we have, as the business has grown, there's cousins. That we have some that work in the business, some that go off and do something completely different. And that's fine too. I always like to say, there's an opportunity for you here. And the great thing for us is that everybody can start out in the butcher shop, and there's something for everybody to do there. And you can learn actual real work in there. So it's kind of nice. That's where they start. And then we've seen them kind of grow into, because the brand is the fun part, so to speak. Yeah. That's where you get to do stuff like this. You go on hunts, whatever. And everybody wants to get there, but we get them started in the butcher shop, and it's a really nice sort of farm system training ground. And then we can kind of see where they gravitate towards. Once they start to kind of gravitate towards one area of the brand, then that's an opportunity for them to take that, as a career. And so far, it's been very timely, and it's been very good for us. We've had some of the family members that can just go skip college and go straight into our brand. And that's great for them. I mean, there's something to be said about working for somebody else for a little bit of time, and that people have philosophy there. But for us, it's start in the shop and then get yourself involved in the brand, find a spot for you, and that's been very positive for us.
As far as like getting along, Scott and I, our older brother Sean, we try to lead by example. When we were young, been in the business 30 years, we didn't have a lot of money growing up.
Yeah.
So I remember Mom and Dad basically saying, we're a team. Dad served in the military, 173rd Airborne, knew how to build a team. And we learned early on that, arguing and fighting wasn't an option.
Yeah.
If as a family we were going to succeed.
Yeah.
So, that is the same thing that we pass down to our kids. It's like, look, if we want this to if we want to build a generational brand, that grandfather brand, you guys are gonna have to get along. I mean, you're having a great time, and you get to have your dads as bosses. So
yeah, we're probably a little too hard on them.
Oh
yeah, I mean, our dad was so hard on us, but and that is
they're really
to them,
maturing really nicely. So I guess it's working.
But
Yeah, they're doing some really big.
I like
things.
the model.
Yeah.
I love it, and there's not many of those around anymore.
Yeah.
No,
These generational companies, right?
right.
They sell off, they get big, they sell, it changes hands, loses that.
Yeah, and we grew up right there on a farm, so kind of have that communal feel, and mom and dad and grandma and grandpa are there, and the cousins and aunts and uncles, and yeah, we're just super tight knit.
My favorite story was the Bison story, loose in town.
Oh yeah, walking down the sidewalk.
And you ran out of bullets or something happened, right? So you decide you have to shoot this bison right now because he's wild. He's out.
Oh yeah.
And he's rampaging through the town.
Yep.
He's in a park or something, right?
That's happened a few times.
Oh, that's not just
Oh
once.
no, that's happened a few times.
No, we just had one. We just had one like back in April.
Like
that
recently.
Recently.
Ran into.
Yeah, thankfully it was a little one, but yeah.
We were actually slaughtering bison, and we had a smaller group and we had just put him in a new pen. And one of the cashiers came back from the store, and she said the neighbors called, and a buffalo just ran past their business.
Yeah.
And
Imagine
we're
sitting
like,
at your desk
oh.
and a bison
there's
runs
not
past.
we know where that came
Yeah.
from.
Yeah, did anybody else start raising them soon or around here not long ago? So I jumped in my truck and I left the kill floor. I jumped in my truck. I took the rifle and I started into town, and it ran through the fire station parking lot right across in front of me and went into an allotment. And I'm like, ugh. And another
In a what?
into the allotment, like a
What's a
cul-de-sac, like a cul-de-sac, like a housing development.
Oh, yeah.
geez.
Housing
Yeah.
development.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I pull back in there. I go back like the cul-de-sac, and it's kind of in between the houses. And another one of our guys had jumped in, Jeremy had jumped in another vehicle, and he went down the other road. And we just kind of started like get out, and it would run through the houses to the other street. We did that a few times. I was like, maybe it was like 400 pounds. I was like, maybe I can like tackle it or something. Well, that was a dumb idea. It took off, and it ran straight back the way it came and ran back across the state route through the fire department parking lot, but it went back into the farm fields behind our shop. We have 80 acres there. And the kids were out in the side-by-side by this point. They joined in the chase. And I said, let me
All
drive.
hands on deck.
Yeah, let me
There's
drive.
a rodeo in town.
I jump in that thing, and there's a video on our social media. I literally about rolled this side-by-side twice and I was kind of stupid. I thought I'll just open the door and like steer dog get that thing out the door. I never could quite catch up to it because I was doing 35 or 40 through this field, and it headed right back to our farm. And because it went back to our farm, we were able to work it up along the fencing, and we just kind of like blocked it with vehicles and stood out there, and it saw the other ones and it wanted back in, and we got some gates open and caught it. But it was about 2 hours of just basically like chasing this thing around. But we've shot a few. That was a small one. Adults, you gotta put them down as quickly as possible.
Yeah, a loose bison's
It's
in
too
our motto
big, too big of a liability.
It's like a train wreck.
Yeah, it's too big of a liability.
Yep.
But that little one, it took a crap in somebody's yard. I had to go up with a shovel and like pick it up. Because I'm like, dude, somebody's gonna get it home and they'll be like, what are these hoof marks? And then this big pile of
buried bitches.
Yeah,
out
buffalo
again.
out.
So yeah,
this is not
there's never a dull moment.
It's not a one-off.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately,
So
no.
the first one, didn't you guys get hurt, or didn't you like?
I've been hurt not by a bison. Well, my dad has been gored by a bison. Spent some time in the hospital. I got injured by a cow. Broke all my teeth out. It's a dangerous business.
Yeah.
It for sure is. Being around livestock like that and all that, especially
well,
buffalo.
So it's funny. It's not funny, but I just did a show on grizzly bear defense, gun versus spray. What's the best, right?
Okay.
Good study behind it. So I started looking at
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what it came out to be, right? What's funny was when I started looking at the odds of being attacked and killed by a grizzly. When I saw all the data, 22 people a year are killed by cattle
Yeah, it's
in
dangerous.
the U.S.
Oh yeah.
Which is 2 for grizzly.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I use it as an example. I'm like, you're way more likely to be
Oh yeah.
killed by an Angus than by a grizzly.
Sure. There's been
Yeah,
multiple,
livestock are dangerous.
multiple farmers in our area over the last 30 years that have been killed by cattle.
Yeah.
Usually bulls get them cornered in a
So my
pasture or something.
buddy, I haven't talked to you since. So after I met you guys, my buddy Ty Stubblefield bought a bison ranch. He bought a ranch. He's been raising bison, and so I remember the story. You're telling me on that hunt. He calls me up and he says, "Hey, I got to kill this bison." He goes, "It's my first one." He goes, "You want to come over and help me with this?
Sure.
'Cause this is not no." I'm like, "Just shoot the thing." Well,
Mhm.
so I get over there. We got a 44 mag rifle, and we're in town. And we shouldn't have been shooting it in town anyway. But anyway, we get in there, and we have this. He's got this bison with these panels, but they got plywood, so they can't get into the panel, right?
Yeah.
So this bison's in there with another bison, and they group up, right? They totally know it's coming.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Something's up. So we get in there, and I'm like, I'm not getting in there. And they're mad. Both of these are mad. So we shoot the bison in the head. We didn't know what we were doing. We shoot the thing straight on.
Shook
right?
it off.
He goes to the ground. I'm like, well, that was easy. Ty jumps the fence, goes in there. He's kind of moving around a little. And I'm like, well, I'm standing there with the gun. This freaking bison jumps up. All it did was stun him. He jumps up and goes after Ty. And Ty barely gets over the panel. And the thing slams into the panel, almost takes the whole corral over. The other one's going crazy. So he takes the gun. He gets after it. We ended up shooting that thing multiple times. Finally, we shoot it behind the ear.
Yep.
And that did it. But that was crazy. And that wasn't a giant bison. That was a, I I think it was like a 2-year-old female that did not have a baby, and they, butchered her. Anyway, that was
They're
my
incredibly
introduction.
tough.
Yeah.
And the
That's my
saying
introduction to
is,
killing a bison.
you can make a buffalo go anywhere he wants to go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
right behind the ears usually your best bet.
And we think that's why Dad started raising them, because of being in Vietnam and getting shot 4 times over there. He wanted something that would try to kill him every day. That's just what he was used to.
Well,
so,
maybe.
Yeah.
So anyway, we boiled the skulls of that cow, and I've still got it in my basement. It's got 2 bullets sitting in the skull, never penetrated.
Yep.
I can't even imagine like a full-size bull. Like he would have went right through those panels. But
yeah. They're wild.
Guys, thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
It's a pleasure. It was
I
good
like,
to see you again.
I'm gonna go ask him.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna say no, but I'm gonna ask him.
1,000%.
And,
Anything for you, Mark.
Congrats on all your success.
Thank you.
Guys, if you don't know anything about bearded butchers, you're like living in a tent.
Hey.
So I'm gonna put some links down below. I didn't know. I have to admit, I did not know you were making those kits.
Yeah.
I hadn't been paying
we gotta get
attention.
the word out there.
Are you selling like at Shields yet, or is it all?
They're
just starting to restart store shelves.
North 40 Outfitters. I'm going to be back in Montana the 1st of August visiting North 40 up in Great Falls.
Okay.
And part of that's going to be about the DIY kits and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
yeah.
Well, we're gonna try that.
We have great reviews on them so far off of the, so go check them out online.
What flavors you got? What kind of flavors?
Oh, it's too many to list.
Okay.
We have
lots of
about
them.
45 to 50.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, all of them are clean. A lot of them are no sugar and that sort of thing. So they really match like the game you're eating.
And they're easy.
Yeah.
They're just, if you have the right equipment, have a smoker, they're super easy.
And we have all the instructions online.
Yep. We have a video to go with it.
Everything.
All
yep.
included.
Collagen, natural, whatever your flavor of the day is.
Oh, you just get it. You pick your pick.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I got to check that out.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for the knife.
Absolutely. You know what I want to do is I want to go on another hunt.
Dude, I'm telling you, I have told people, they've come to the house talking about whatever. They start talking about bearded butchers. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Here we go. Got those guys.
Here we go. And I'm like, well, I took them on a hunt.
Yeah.
Oh, you're full of shit. I'm like, I'm telling you right now, I did.
Slept
So-
here's the thing,
guys.
though. He started taping his mouth shut. He no longer snores, so I think you're going to be in the snoring tent by
Dude,
yourself.
I don't snore. This is a magical myth that everyone keeps perpetuating.
Mark,
I'll
tent.
still sleep in the tent with you, Mark.
Yeah.
All right. Dude, I'm like a baby
teepee.
in there. It's no problem.
Cool.
Something's got to keep the grizzlies away.
I know. I felt safe.
You guys got so lucky. On that spot, I don't know if we told you guys. Did we tell you about the grizzlies in that spot?
No.
Cody said not to stay.
We'd have been very worried.
Yeah, and Cody said, let's just not bring it up unless we start having a problem.
Yeah.
I'm like, good idea.
Yeah.
Dude, that is one of the most grizzly infested places in Montana. But the good news is usually by rifle season,
Usually
that a lot of them are out. But the problem in that spot is they kill a lot of cows there. They give out cow tags, and the grizzlies have
A lot of
learned
gut
it.
piles and
So
stuff.
they don't go to hibernate. They stay up because they know that the slaughter is coming.
Food coming.
And I've had 2 cases where I've had serious issues there.
Oh boy.
So now I can tell you guys that.
Yeah.
Oh, let's not go back there next time.
It's not.
Or-
We're going to go somewhere different.
Okay.
Cool.
Anytime you want to go, I clear my schedule.
We got
Thank
your
you.
number.
We'll roll.
All right, brother.
All right.
All right,
thanks,
man.
Thank
Deal.
you guys.
Absolutely.
Pleasure being on.
Good seeing you, boys.
Good
Yeah.
seeing you too.
See you.
Love it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is the PEAX Thrive Vodcast. Raw, real, built for Western hunters.